Florida Gators men's basketball team secured an eighth SEC championship. On senior night, the Gators put a cherry on top of their home schedule with a tremendous output over upset-minded Mississippi State. This would be their second consecutive 34-point win over a conference opponent, 108-74. The Gator Boys will finish their season with only one loss in the exact Tech Arena, that being to Auburn. The Gators have clinched the number one seed for the upcoming SEC tournament, but they still have work to do to ensure a number one seed in whatever region they draw in March Madness. Any argument that the season Florida accomplished last year was merely a lucky draw or lightning in a bottle has been completely eradicated. The Gators basketball program is back at the level it was under Billy Donovan in the 2000s. And if that decade provided any indication, it's that UF is not going away anytime soon. Todd Golden in 4 years has blossomed from an unknown mystery out of the University of San Francisco into one of the best coaches in the nation with an alluring trajectory to becoming one of college basketball's all-time greats. What makes this saga so special is that he also proved, a couple of things regarding the Gator fans and a warning from legendary Bear Bryant that wasn't taken seriously until it was too late. Now you hear Bear Bryant and you immediately think, what does he have to do with basketball? He's a football coach, which is understandable. But it's not about the sport. It was about the message and its significance. During an interview with the Miami Herald in the 1970s, Bear Bryant dropped a warning that UF was a sleeping giant and that the South should be wary of what the Gators could grow into. His quote was, "Don't poke the sleeping alligator. You won't like it when it wakes up." That was regarding the university's football program, and he was right. Florida got better through the 80s, and then they became a true heavyweight during the Spurrier era in the 90s and rose back to that status under Urban Meyer in the mid to late 2000s. During that two-decade run, from 1990 to 2009, Florida fans also witnessed the emergence of the orange and blue on the basketball court. Billy Donovan was hired in 1996, which was the year that Florida would eventually win their first national championship. So his arrival wasn't met with much excitement because the football team was the bigger story. Donovan revealed that many beat writers in Gainesville openly told him to his face that basketball would never be a major attraction to Gator fans. Well, he certainly made liars out of those. He made liars out of those skeptics, as he made UF the first and still the only championship program in the state of Florida. Just give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. I went too far ahead. When he left the school to coach the NBA's OKC Thunder, big shoes were left to be filled. Next man up was Mike White out of Louisiana Tech. Second year in, the Gators make the Elite Eight. Unfortunately, in every tournament afterwards, he couldn't get past the second round. Coming off the Donovan era, it was hard and probably impossible for Mike White to live up to those insanely high standards. Gator fans were impatient and created the term mid-major Mike. This was defined as Mike White doing enough to avoid being on the hot seat, but never realistically putting UF in contention for the Final Four or even winning the SEC. After 7 years, Mike White chose to stay in the SEC, but he went to go coach for the hated rival Georgia Bulldogs. This opened the door for Todd Golden to walk through. Florida fans were vilified for Mike White leaving on his own record and were labeled by some in the media as toxic, spoiled, and unreasonable. Here we are today, with UF winning their first SEC Hoops title since 2014 and are projected to make another deep run in the NCAA title. I bring all this up because, as Florida fans, we get a bad reputation for being too demanding or being too high-strung on our programs. To that, I simply say, boo-hoo. When UF is competing at the top, it sends shockwaves through the nation. The sleeping alligator awakens and it chomps down on its opposition and death rolls the opponent to utter mutilation. The sleeping alligator drags their rivals, Kentucky, Georgia, Florida State, Tennessee, Miami, down into the murky depths until they run out of oxygen. When the swamp or the O-Dome is rocking and boisterous, they are two of the toughest environments in college football or college basketball. That is, provided that they have the right visionaries in place, and we can see that they do in the O-Dome. Now it's time, long overdue, that the football playground messes up to its reputation. In college athletics, most schools are either pride themselves in football or pride themselves in basketball. Purdue, basketball. Indiana, basketball. Michigan State, basketball. Kentucky, basketball. Duke, basketball. Ohio State, football. Michigan, football. Georgia, football. Florida State, football. Texas, football. And so on and so on. Florida has been successful in both. The only school in the United States of America with a trio of championships so far in each category. The only one. The only school in the state and in the southeastern U.S., meaning schools across the ACC, Big 12, and SEC, and any other conference in college athletics that you can think of, with championships in football, basketball, and baseball. This is the reason why Florida fans unapologetically have high expectations for their programs. Toxic or not, the Gator head logo has become one of the most decorated brands in college athletics over the last 30 plus years. Simply put, when the Gator Boys get hot, they stay hot. And they look to stay hot this Saturday when they're on the road in Lexington to play the Kentucky Wildcats to complete the season sweep and to prepare themselves for the SEC tournament and get ready for March Madness. Thank you for listening.